You feel it, don't you? Something has shifted, and you can't quite explain it. But you know it's there. The conversations don't hit the same anymore. The jokes feel forced, and the energy around certain people feels off in a way you can't ignore. You sit there, surrounded by people you once felt completely aligned with, and instead of connection, there's distance. Not because they changed, but because you did. And that feeling right there, that quiet, uncomfortable awareness, is one of the clearest signs of real growth. You're not broken, you're not becoming cold, and you're not too much. You've simply outgrown environments that were built for a version of you that no longer exists. Most people will never understand this feeling because most people never evolve far enough to experience it. There's a truth that Stoic philosophy has been teaching for over 2,000 years, and it's one most people try to avoid. Growth isolates you, not forever, but long enough to test whether you're serious about becoming who you say you want to be. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. And that idea alone explains everything you're feeling right now. If you've been working on your mind, choosing discipline over distraction, purpose over comfort, and clarity over chaos, then naturally you're going to feel out of place in environments that reward the opposite. That's not arrogance, that's alignment. And alignment always comes with a cost. If you really pay attention to your life, you'll notice the shift clearly. The things you used to tolerate now drain you. Gossip feels pointless, negativity feels exhausting, and constant complaining feels unbearable. This isn't random. Psychological research shows that as self-awareness increases, tolerance for low-value interactions decreases. In simple terms, the more you grow, the less nonsense you can stand. And the difficult part is that the people around you may still be operating at that level, completely unaware of the shift you've gone through. That's where the tension begins, because when you outgrow people, you don't just lose connection. You disrupt their sense of normal. Your discipline reminds them of their lack of it. Your silence exposes their noise, and your focus highlights their stagnation. Most people won't say this directly, but they'll feel it. And instead of being inspired, they'll respond with subtle resistance. They'll say you've changed. They'll joke that you've become too serious, and they'll act like you've distanced yourself for no reason. But what they're really reacting to is the fact that you're no longer easy to relate to. If this is resonating with you, take a second to like the video and later drop a comment telling me what you've outgrown, because once you start noticing this pattern, you realize just how many people are going through the exact same shift. Here's the part most people don't want to accept. Outgrowing people is uncomfortable, but shrinking yourself to stay relatable is far worse. You can try to fit back into your old life, laugh at things that don't feel funny anymore, and engage in conversations that leave you feeling empty. But deep down, you'll feel the disconnect growing stronger. Once your mind expands, it doesn't go back. That's not how growth works. Epictetus made this clear when he said that if you want to improve, you must be content to be thought foolish or strange. In other words, the moment you start evolving, people will misunderstand you. Because from their perspective, you're breaking the pattern they're comfortable with. What you're feeling right now isn't just social, it's psychological. Your brain is wired for familiarity, even if that familiarity is holding you back. It prefers what it knows over what is right, because what it knows feels safe. So when you begin to change, there's a natural pullback towards old environments, old habits, and old people. Not because they serve you, but because they feel predictable. But growth demands that you resist that pull. Seneca said that we suffer more in imagination than in reality, and that applies perfectly here. You imagine losing people as something painful and dramatic, but in reality, what you're losing is misalignment, and what you're gaining is clarity. Now let's get real for a second. If you're still here, you're not like most people. Most click off the moment something hits too close to home, but you stayed. And that tells me you're serious about growth. So don't treat this like just another video. Subscribe and join this community. Because if you don't surround yourself with this kind of thinking consistently, you will drift back into old patterns without even realizing it. And you already know where that leads. Back to comfort, back to stagnation, back to a version of your life that no longer satisfies you. There's a concept in psychology called social homeostasis, which basically means people try to keep relationships the same, even when those patterns are unhealthy. So when you start improving, thinking differently, and becoming more disciplined, it disrupts that balance. People will unconsciously try to pull you back to who you used to be. Not because they hate you, but because your growth creates friction in their world. This is why you might feel guilt, like you're leaving people behind or becoming someone they don't recognize anymore. But growth is not betrayal, it's responsibility. You were not put here to stay the same, just to make other people comfortable. Seneca advised that we should associate with people who improve us, not people who simply entertain us or keep us comfortable. That distinction is everything. If your environment isn't pushing you forward, it's quietly holding you back. And the discomfort you feel is your awareness catching up to that reality. This doesn't mean you need to cut people off aggressively or create unnecessary conflict. Stoicism isn't about chaos, it's about clarity. It's about quietly raising your standards and allowing everything that doesn't meet them to fall away naturally, without drama or explanation. Something powerful happens when you stay committed to that process. You stop chasing connection, and you start attracting it. The right people begin to enter your life. People who think differently, who challenge you, who respect your time and energy, and who don't rely on constant distraction to feel fulfilled. But this only happens if you don't interrupt your own growth by going backwards. And that's the real test. Are you willing to sit in that in-between phase where you've outgrown your past, but haven't fully stepped into your future yet? Because that phase is where most people give up. It's where doubt creeps in, where loneliness starts to feel uncomfortable, and where people convince themselves they were better off before. But you weren't. You were just more comfortable. And comfort is one of the most dangerous traps there is because it convinces you to stay where you are, even when you know you're meant for more. So if you feel different right now, good. If things feel off, good. If you're questioning your environment, good. That's not a problem. That's a signal that you're evolving, a signal that your standards are rising, and a signal that you're no longer willing to live on autopilot. Don't ignore it, and don't run from it. Lean into it fully and trust that this phase is necessary. You didn't come this far just to stay the same, and deep down, you know that. If this hits you, like the video so more people who need to hear this actually see it. And in the comments, tell me honestly if you've started feeling this distance from people in your life. Because the truth is, the moment you outgrow them is the moment you finally start becoming who you were meant to be.